Our group's presentation is over schizophrenia. In our representation, our patient will experience certain auditory hallucinations, such as hearing alien voices telling her what to do. She will also have a problem with maintaining eye contact or focusing on the interviewer's questions. This will relate to her social dysfunction and not being able to really establish a good support system outside of the clinic. And she will also experience these delusions of paranoia, especially related to authority figures. The nurse's focus in this video will be on therapeutic communication and building a trusting relationship with the patient. One of the ways that they're going to do that is to reinforce reality, especially in episodes where the patient is experiencing a hallucination. Something that the nurse can do to establish this is to use visual aids to focus the patient on what they're saying and really drive home.
Hi, Connor. So why are you here today?
The doctors made me come here because I don't take my medicine.
Okay, so why aren't you taking your medicine?
The aliens tell me not to because they tell me it burns my insides and it makes me throw up.
Oh, so you're throwing up when you're
Yeah.
taking your medicine?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're taking your medicine, are you eating beforehand?
No.
Okay, so that's something that will help you not throw up when you take your medicine. Let's say that you take your medicine every morning. So before you take your medicine, eat breakfast and that will help you not throw up, okay? Okay. And have you seen any improvement in your symptoms?
No.
Okay. Well, don't be discouraged by that. That's normal. You've only been on your medication for 2 weeks and it's probably going to take about 6 weeks for you to see the full effects.
Oh.
Okay? So one thing that, just like a visual, so let's just say like you need to take 6 weeks of medicine. So we need to fill this bucket to see if like this medication is working. So you've already taken this for 2 weeks. So you've already done so good. Next week you'll be halfway there. And then after that, at the 6 week mark, we'll talk about how you're feeling, your signs and symptoms. But yeah, you have to fill the whole bucket to see changes in your signs and your symptoms. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Is this visual helpful?
Yeah, so I just fill up those.
Yeah. Hi, Connor. So it's been 6 weeks since you had taken your medication completely. How have you been feeling?
I feel good.
Okay. So have you seen any improvement in your hallucinations?
Yeah, they happen less often, so and I can kind of control them a little more.
Okay. That's great to hear. Are you satisfied with how it's kind of the progression of it?
Yeah, I think the medicine really helps now that I take my medicine after I eat breakfast.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't throw up anymore.
Yeah, that was a big concern last time. So you haven't thrown up since?
No, in the beginning I still did, but now I don't.
Okay, that's great. That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
How about your socializing and things like that? How's that been for you?
It's easier for me to talk to people, but I still feel really anxious, like when I'm in crowds.
Okay. So it sounds like the medication is helping. Are you satisfied overall with kind of your
Yeah.
hallucinations and your other problems too?
So far, yeah.
Okay. You just now mentioned that you still feel some anxiety
Mhm.
with your hallucinations and being in crowds. Let's
Yeah.
talk about some ways that we can maybe reduce some of that anxiety. When your hallucinations start, what do you think are some causing factors or some triggers for you?
Well, when people are just like, there's a lot of people talking at once and they're like telling me what to do and kind of like telling me what's right and wrong.
Okay.
That triggers me.
Okay. So maybe 2 things that you just said are big crowds
Mm-hmm.
and when people are just telling you there's no other way, there's only
Yeah.
right and wrong. Okay. That's really good that you've already identified those triggers. Before you go into big crowds, maybe think about the hallucinations that you have and realize that those are some hallucinations that you have. What are some hallucinations that you have had in the past that you know are kind of reoccurring?
The aliens sometimes talk to me and
Okay.
like they'll control what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay.
and they just tell me what to do.
Okay, so that's one. So I think a big step for you would to be, even like before you're going into those situations, knowing that that could be a possibility or avoiding those situations. But you can't always avoid when people are going to tell you what to do. So maybe just remembering that aliens are one of your hallucinations before you're in those situations or during those situations. You can just tell yourself, kind of speak truth to yourself and say, I know this is a hallucination of mine, and this is not real.
Yeah.
Okay. Another way that you can identify that it's a hallucination is like looking around you and seeing, is anybody else seeing what I'm seeing? Are they hearing what I'm hearing? Are they seeing the same things?
Okay.
That can kind of help you maybe draw yourself out if you can, or at least try to speak truth before you get into those situations.
Okay.
One last thing that I want to mention is, do you have like a contact person or someone that you trust that you can talk to?
Yeah, my mom.
Okay, awesome. So how often do you talk to your mom about these things? Is she aware of everything going on?
She's very involved.
Okay.
We talk like every day
Okay.
about it.
Okay. So I would just suggest maybe like just telling her like, you know, I might call you when I feel like I'm about to have a hallucination or when I am, and just tell her to do the same things that you've done for yourself. Speak truth. This is a hallucination. She's a trusted person, so this might help you cope with your hallucinations.
In the video, our nurse implemented certain interventions to help our patient. The first being medication education. Our patient was on Abilify, and they had been for the past 2 weeks. Abilify is a second-generation antipsychotic, and it's a dopamine agonist. So it's going to help balance the neurotransmitters in our patient's brain, but our nurse did a good job about educating the patient on how long it would take to reach therapeutic effect. And also she educated about this adverse effects. Our patient mentioned GI upset and vomiting, so our nurse educated her about taking the medication with food to prevent any of that. Something else that our nurse did was allowing our patient to identify triggers that would result in hallucinations, and she also established a support system of reaching out to her mother when she maybe could feel those things coming on, and that would prevent any psychotic episodes.